Is it possible to beat Pokemon Brilliant Diamond using the Nuzlocke method? Today we're going to find out as I attempt this challenge. Now if you've never heard of the Nuzlocke method before, it's pretty simple. You take the standard gameplay and you add a few extra rules to make it twice as challenging and twice as fun. Now, the rules for this Nuzlocke are as follows. If a Pokemon dies, you must release it. No redos, no retries. The only way to get Pokemon is by catching the first encounter you get on a specific route and or area. If you don't catch that first Pokemon you see, you can't keep it and you can't get any more for that area. Now, and one of the most fun rules, is you have to nickname every Pokemon you find to make it more personal. That way when they die, it hurts a little bit more. And as an added bonus, I will be doing a Bidoof death counter for my own personal reason, but that's not the point. Once we queue up the game, it asks you to select your language, and then it allows you to talk to the professor for the very first time. And here we'll see the professor give us some words of wisdom and tell us a little bit more about the Pokemon world. After he tells us a little bit about the Pokemon world, we get to select our character. It gives you a list of choosings. I chose the first one because it's most like me in the real world, but you wouldn't know that. After that, it lets you choose your nickname, the name you'll carry throughout the rest of the game. Obviously, I chose Narwhal as it suits me the best. Once you've done this, you can even choose your rival's name. It also gives you a couple presets to choose from if you're unsure. Once all your personalization is done with your character and your rival's character, you can enter the world of Pokemon. And you do a little backstory with your mom, and once you're done with that, you can head towards your rival's house. I named my rival Barry, in case you didn't notice, and once we go to rival's house, we bump right into him, and we do a little more backstory with him there. Afterwards, we agree to meet him on Route 201, and then we head to the lake to meet the Professor and Dawn and get our very first Pokemon. And once the Professor and Dawn leave, we look over to realize that the Professor has left his briefcase in the tall grass. And after some convincing, my rival Barry decides that we should go and check out the briefcase. And now if you've never played this game before, this is one of the most important moments you get in the game. And especially with the Nuzlocke, this is one of the most important moments because you actually get to choose a Pokemon for your challenge. Now, once we open the briefcase, suddenly we get attacked by some wild Starlies. And as you can see, the only way to fight it out is to get some Pokemon from Professor's case. Now you can choose. Your options are as followed. You can choose the Grass-type Pokemon, Turtwig. You can choose the Fire-type Pokemon known as Chimchar, or you can choose the Water-type Pokemon known as Piplup. And now this is an integral moment for the game. For this run, I decided to go with Chimchar because I thought a Fire-type for the second gym, which is Grass, would be the best idea. Now, once you get your starter, you engage in your first ever battle, and now this is where you can make it or break it, because if you lose the first battle, you're gonna hate to have to go through all this again. Now, after we won our first battle, we made our way home, and then went to Route 201. Before this, I checked my bag to make sure we don't have any Pokeballs, because the run does not officially start until we get Pokeballs, meaning if we get an encounter on one of these routes, it doesn't count as our first encounter. Not until we get the Pokeballs, at least. And, of course, our first encounter is a Bidoof! Our first ever Bidoof! And you know what we have to do with any Bidoof we find? We gotta kill him and add it to the Bidoof counter. And now you might be asking, why are we making a Bidoof counter? Now here's the fun part in this series. I personally do not like Bidoof. If you've ever played this game before, you know exactly what Bidoof was used for. It was used as an HM slave, and you just put all the HMs on it. It took up a spot in your party that you never wanted. Thankfully, in the new remakes, we don't have to have that. You can have 6 slots of only the Pokemon that you want. So, as a thank you for that, I will be slaying every Bidoof I find in this game. Personally, you might like Bidoof. I personally do not, so we will be killing every single one. And, thankfully, we won this match with ease with our new Chimchar, scratched it to death, and added number 1 to the Bidoof counter. And once we've slayed our first Bidoof, we head over to the Professor's laboratory, where we meet Dawn and we go inside, thinking we're going to get scolded by Professor Rowan for using his Pokemon, but come to find out that he's actually proud of us and he wants us to take the Pokemon on a journey to explore the entire region and gather more data for the Pokedex. So, pretty cool. But now we get to name our Chimchar. So, obviously, a fire type, you have to name Arson. I know it sounds silly, but Arson's just what I went with. And a little spoiler, don't get too attached to Arson. And once we agree to work for Professor Rowan, we can head to Route 202, where Dawn shows us how to catch Pokemon and use the Pokeballs. And this is where we're going to get our first Pokeballs of the game, and officially where the match begins, or the challenge begins. And once we get the Pokeballs, every time we go on the first time of a route, and the first encounter, that is the only Pokemon we can catch. So, she just goes through the basic tutorial of how to catch a Bidoof before giving us our very first Pokeballs, starting the challenge of the series. Now that we finally got the Pokeballs, we can begin the challenge. I decided to do some backtracking into the previous Route 201 to catch our first encounter of the game there. Our first encounter is a Bidoof! And now, although it may seem silly, we do want to catch this. I know I said we're going to be killing every Bidoof we see, but the more Pokemon we have, the better chance we are at not losing the game. You want to make sure we have a good variety of Pokemon throughout the series, and just in case, we want to make sure we have everything covered. So, we're definitely going to want to catch this one, and, well, guess Arson had different plans. I guess that's what you leave to, you know, a dedicated Pokemon. He really wanted to make sure we didn't lose this Bidoof challenge. But unfortunately, that was the first encounter of Route 201, and we accidentally killed the Bidoof, so we can no longer catch any more Pokemon on Route 201. So, frustrated and defeated, I decided to head to Route 202 to try my luck there. And we find a young Starly in the grass, which we will now catch and try and add to the party. And after weakening the Starly first, we are eventually able to catch it. And this is the second Pokemon on our Nuzlocke challenge. We have now caught a Pokemon for Route 202 and can no longer catch any Pokemon found on Route 202. But we also have to nickname the brand new Starly we got. So now, this is half the fun. We get to nickname the new Starly. I chose the nickname Flaps, because it has wings and birds flap. Really original, right? I think you should have sensed the pattern when I named Chimchar Arson. But that's not the point. All we do is name Starly, and then we continue on our journey. Now, since we were down a Pokemon because we accidentally killed Bidoof earlier, we decided to head back to the lake and catch a Pokemon there, because that's technically a different area than Route 201. So, testing our luck, we go back over there and we find another Starly. That's perfectly fine. We can catch another Starly here, and then at least we'll have 3 Pokemon instead of 2, because we accidentally lost one. And then, after our battle with the Starly, we caught it, adding a third Pokemon to our team. And once again, similar with Flaps, we have to nickname this Starly now. And Arson also grew to level 7 during the process, so it all worked out. So we're going to give a nickname to the Starly, and I bounced around a few names. I was wondering, what do you call a bird that we already have a duplicate of? And I was thinking of maybe Singular Flap, Flaps 2, just Flappy, I don't know. As you can see, it's just me bouncing around ideas in my head, but then we do eventually settle on a name. With Flaps 2 now in the party, we make our way back to Route 202 to challenge some more trainers and work our way towards the city, where we're going to meet our rival again. But, like I said, we do have to keep track of a Bidoof counter, so although this seems like a tedious battle, we got a Bidoof. So, add this one to the counter, because we're about to kill him. And after we killed the first one, just when I thought that we had rid the world of another Bidoof, she happens to have 2. So what are we going to do? We're going to kill this one as well. So that's another Bidoof added to the counter. Now, before we make it into the city, we decided to check this patch of grass and grab the item that was there. And lo and behold, would you know it, it's another Bidoof. So you know what we gotta do now, don't you? We gotta add another Bidoof to the counter. So we send Arson out to do just some political damage, and we take out another Bidoof, and we, add another Bidoof to the counter, John. And once we finally make it into the city, we are reunited with Dawn once again. And now that we're in Jubilife City, we can catch up with Barry and give him the parcel we were supposed to deliver from his mom. So we head right over to the trainer school, talk with Barry, and give Barry the parcel. Inside, he tells us that it's a town map, so Barry was kind enough to give us a spare that his mom had packed for him. After we get the town map from Barry, once you head outside, a man wants to speak to you. He invented this watch, the Poke Catch. I think Pokemon Watch is probably an easier way to say it for me. So we're going to go with Pokemon Watch. All you have to do is find 3 clowns, answer their questions correctly, and you'll get 3 tickets, which you can redeem for the watch. And now, on our way out, we decided to grab an old rod really quick, and so we can get another Pokemon to our team. After getting the old rod, we immediately head right outside to the body of water there, which counts as a different route. So what we're going to do is we're going to go into our inventory, go to key items, select the old rod, register it to our first slot so we can fish. And now once it's registered, all you have to do is hit the plus button so we can fish on the body of water and get ourselves our next Pokemon for the series. Luckily for us, we fished up a Magikarp. A very common Pokemon with the old rod, but we will take it because we can use every single Pokemon we can get because we only get 1 per area. So take advantage of what you got and make it count. And with a Magikarp on our team named Koi, we decide to head into the town and get some more Pokeballs and potions before we head on to the next route in order to catch some more Pokemon. Once we've gathered all our supplies, we're going to head upwards through Route 204 to challenge some more trainers and catch another Pokemon. Of course, we get challenged right away, only to find out that this lucky trainer here has a Bidoof! So, unfortunately, I know these matches tend to be a little boring, but once I commit, I commit. Add another Bidoof to the counter, because we're taking this big guy out of the game. And after we beat her, our first encounter of the route is actually a Bidoof. And unfortunately, I know you guys want to see another one added to the counter, and I know Arson definitely would like to see another one added to the counter. I can't let another one slip by, so we're going to do our very best to try and catch this one to add it to the party. But even though we're going to add it to the party, we are not going to nickname it because no Bidoof deserves any love and we will not be getting attached to it. So I might be breaking my own rule, but is it technically because Bidoofs don't matter? And after catching and adding Bidoof to our party, we head towards the other direction out of Jubilife City to battle our rival, Barry. I definitely said that wrong, but oh well. So we challenge Barry to a fight, and I will show you the whole fight this time, and I want to let you decide what you think. Let me know what I could have done differently, or what you have changed in this battle. Feel free to let me know in the comments. obviously we continued down the route, and we finally got the first encounter of this route, and what would you guess it is? It's a Bidoof again. Oh well. Well, again, I would like to catch this one just so we have some more options on the team, and if we lose some later on, I'm hinting at that. We'll have some more Pokemon to play with, so I will catch Bidoof, but just like the other one, I will not nickname it. I refuse. Bidoofs don't deserve love. Thankfully, right after that, we are challenged by last Caitlin, and she sends out a Bidoof, so we can really get rid of all this anger we have from not killing Bidoofs, and let Arson really do his thing. He's a Bidoof murderer, and I can't help it, so let's add another Bidoof to the counter. And right after we defeat last Caitlin, we immediately head right past her into a patch of grass and get another Bidoof. We are really going to be able to pound out our Bidoof stress today by killing every single Bidoof we see. Again, Arson does his thing, we send him out, and let's add one more Bidoof to the counter. After that, we head into the cave, and once we pass by the hiker that is in front of us, he gives us some helpful advice and an HM. But we're going to need to make sure we beat the gym leader before we can use it. And once we get that helpful stuff from him, we head deeper into the cave where we get our first Pokemon of the cave. Remember, the cave is technically a different area, so we will be able to catch this Pokemon in the cave. So our first encounter for the cave is a Zubat. Nice, we're going to shake some stuff up a little bit and add a different member to the team. Let's try and get it. After catching Zubat, thankfully, we get a nice new member to the team, one who has different powers, but we're going to leave Zubat in the box just in case we have something go wrong. I would prefer the Bidoofs over the Zubats. Hence I'm trying to hit that the Zubats might be coming back later, but I don't know if you noticed yet. But anyway, once we caught the Zubat, we decided to name the Zubat Drac, like in Dracula. Get it? Get it? Get it? No? Whatever. So, after catching the Zubat, we eventually head into the next town and head down into the mine. The mine is going to be another place where we can catch a first Pokemon, because it is a different zone. So we first grab the X defense that we can find on the right. Hopefully we'll be able to use that later, and then head down towards the mine. Now, all the NPCs you see here, you can battle and get more XP, but I decided that I was strong enough just to head straight down, talk to the gym leader, and then catch our Pokemon before leaving. Another helpful hint is there's a potion sitting right behind this rock, something we definitely were going to need in the future. So, we're going to talk to the gym leader and then catch our Pokemon. Once the gym leader disappears, we move towards the right, back towards the surface, and get our first encounter of the cave. Another Zubat, which we don't mind, and like I said, we want to make sure we have as many Pokemon as possible for what's to come, just in case, so we will be catching this Zubat as well. Anything's better than a Bidoof, in my opinion. So, we're going to catch this Bidoof and head back towards the surface, towards the gym. Now, even though we are a little bit underleveled, I decided to challenge the gym. I figured there's 2 trainers to fight beforehand, gain a little XP before we head towards the main battle, and that way my Pokemon will be tough enough to take on the challenge. Again, I'm trying to warn you! But we take on youngster Jonathan, the first match in the gym, and I will just let you witness the horrible thing that is about to come. I send out Arsene using Power-Up Punch. Unfortunately, it doesn't do a lot of damage, but it is super effective. So I land 1 Power-Up Punch before Geodude uses Rollout. Geodude uses Rollout and nearly takes half of Arsene's health. So I figured 1 more Power-Up Punch with the boosted special attack will be enough to take him out. Unfortunately, he wasn't. But I knew I could survive at least 1 more rollout until Geodude landed a critical hit and Arsene fainted. So Geodude got a high roll, taking out Arsene, and Arsene is no longer in play. Just like that, my most powerful and starter Pokemon is now out of the game. Now thankfully I know that we have 2 Zubats still in the box if we lose all 6 Pokemon, but I would not like to. So we send out Flaps, hoping I can just make it through this fight, because he only has 1 Geodude. If I can make it through this fight, I might have a chance of saving some of my Pokemon before having to result to only having 2 Zubat. But unfortunately, Flaps didn't survive Rollout either. And we lost Flaps. So I decide to throw in some cannon fodder and get rid of the Bidoofs, hoping the Bidoofs would be enough to whittle the Geodude down just to save Flaps 2, but it wasn't looking good. Bidoof did land a tackle before Geodude could attack, and Geodude used Rollout. Once again, one-shotting my Pokemon. We are down 3 Pokemon, and this is just the first challenger of the gym. Again, I send out Bidoof, hoping I can do enough damage before he wipes out my entire team. Bidoof manages to land a 2nd tackle in a row, but not enough to kill Geodude. Geodude once again lands a perfect rollout, one-shotting another one of my Bidoofs. Now, ordinarily, I probably wouldn't feel too bad if it weren't for the fact that Flaps 2 and Koi, who has no moves, the only 2 left. So, thinking the worst, I sent out Flaps 2, knowing I'd probably result to having only 2 Zubats left. And Flaps 2 landed a wing attack, but not enough to finish it. But luckily, the enemy Geodude decided to use Tackle, and Flaps survived. Even with a critical hit, and Flaps outsped the Geodude for the 2nd turn and managed to take him out. Meaning Flaps 2 and Koi were the only survivors of this match. My arrogance, my ignorance, and my inability to see that my Pokemon were far too underleveled for this gym got Arsene, Flaps 2, and the 2 Bidoof murdered in that match. So, in a proper burial, I moved Arsene, both Bidoof, and Flaps into the dead PC box where they cannot be used anymore. It was unfortunate to lose all these great allies in the battle, but I knew that if I wanted any chance of taking on this gym, I had to do a lot more grinding before I went forward. So I deposited our dead allies into the box and moved on. After depositing our allies, I went to the box, and thankfully I had 2 Zubats, so at least our party wasn't completely empty. But even Zubats don't have much of a chance of taking on a Rock-type gym. And Flaps and Koi weren't high enough level. But I knew I could still go to Route 207 and catch a Pokemon, and thankfully, the first Pokemon I encounter on Route 207 is a wild Machop. Machop is a fighting-type Pokemon, if you didn't know, and fighting-type are super strong against Rock-type. The only problem is, he is crazy under-leveled. So the only way I will ever beat this gym is if I grind and use Machop as a deadly weapon. With 1 Pokeball, we caught Machop right away and added him to the team. But we still have to nickname him because that's one of the rules. So, a fitting nickname for a Machop that we'll be using to annihilate our enemies from the prior fight, I decided was Vengeance. So, Vengeance, the Machop, was now added to our party, leaving us with, well, not a great team, but a team that'll have to win. We have Flaps 2, Koi, Drac, Zubat, and Vengeance. Now, none of these Pokemon alone will be enough to defeat this gym. And frankly, Vengeance isn't even strong enough to take on 1 Pokemon, let alone 4. So we definitely have some work ahead of us, but I'm optimistic for the future. And we even got an extra Pokeball before we decided to do more grinding. So, right now our team may not be looking too strong. 1 of our Pokemon, Koi, can't even attack. 3 of our Pokemon are not very effective against Rock types, and Vengeance is crazy underleveled for the next fight. But, we're not totally lost. We still might have a chance. But, if you do want to see what happens next, you're going to have to tune in for the next episode. I'm very thankful that you made it this long, and if you want to see the next episode, please let me know. If you have any tips, please let me know. So far, we are barely surviving, and I am excited to see how it goes in the rest of the game. Thank you so much for watching. As always, stay safe out there, enjoy your holiday, and thank you so much for watching.